Time for me to change this tire. First thing we're going to do is take a wrench and undo this. Make sure you hold your bike. We're also going to check the condition of the axle. Now the next thing you're going to remove is this. This is the chain adjuster. This is a 19 millimeter socket. A lot of times you don't need to unscrew it because it's already unscrewed. But sometimes it helps to do this while you rotate and pull on the axle. So I got my other hand on the axle. You can see it comes out very easily. Putting my hand on here, I'm just going to push it. And as I come with the axle on the other side, I'm actually going to lift up on the wheel. I'll pull the axle out, and there we go. Condition of the axle. This is pretty good. It's got really good grease on. It's not dirty. There's no scoring. The chain is around the sprockets. I just waxed this, so what you have to do is kind of pull it forward. That way you have enough space to kind of move the chain around the sprockets. There we go. Now the chain is off to the side, and you should be able to pull the wheel backwards. Now there's a couple important things not to forget. On this left side of the wheel you have this spacer. Make sure there's no scoring around here. Clean it off, clean any dirt. On the right side, an exact shaped spacer. This is what I'm talking about. That scoring around the edge, that gets debris stuck in there and then it can ruin your wheel. We're going to pull the wheel out. Be careful with the fender, and now the wheel is out. When I use a little valve like this. Remember, this one's got a tube, and we want to change this into a tubeless format. And this is what you remove. Using a 12 millimeter socket, pull out this nut. These are tire levers. One thing I've noticed is that often we ride, we might have a compressor, we might even have slime to patch our stuff. These tube things require tire levers, and often I don't have space to put this on the crf250. I did notice that they have smaller, compact, more portable type of tire levers you can get. I might buy one of those if I ever do a long trip. We have to remove the wheel from the tire. Finally got the rim off. GP1. I got this with the bike, and it's got it's by IRC, and it's pretty decent. It's got some nice meat on it. I'm going to put the tube inside. All right. So now at this point we're going to start getting our rim. So usually I use a brush to put soapy water, but I'm going to try this. I got the tire on there. I have the valve here. I'm going to fill it up and see if it'll hold air. I'm going to keep an eye out on it before I put it on the bike, but it should be okay. Make sure that you have enough brake pads. That way you can change if you need to. And just kind of slide it in. We're going to have to get the spacers. This is on a slide, so you have to kind of zip it on here. If it falls off, just put it back onto that little metal section. Just really quick tip, if you put some grease on there on the spacers, it kind of just, and this is too much grease, but the reason I'm doing that is that it lets you hold the spacers while you work on it. The sprocket on one side, it's a little bit harder to do with one hand, but I should be able to do it. I have a soft mallet that kind of helps. This is better done with a helping hand. So as it gets to the other side, there's some dirt. I'm going to just hold the tire up like this. And there's the other axle, the other side of the axle. And now you're going to take your chain adjustment guide, put it on there, take the big nut. So on the other side you have the chain kind of off. So at this point you can kind of move the chain or the wheel up, get as much slack as possible. And we're going to rotate this. And it should go on there like that. Boom. So what you have on two sides is this. You have a nut with the axle, and then you have a mark up here on the swing arm, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 marks on this chain guide. And what that does, it kind of moves up and down, and you adjust it using these bolts, and that pushes it back. So as your chain gets sloppier, you adjust, you loosen this nut, and then you move this bolt backwards and it stretches the chain. The next thing really is just to keep an eye out on the tire pressure, make sure that everything is perfect, and you should have plenty of life on this tire. It's brand new, and these bikes with their limited power, they really don't use up a lot of the tire. You know, the ST1300 next to it, every 5,000 miles, the tire is gone. So keep an eye out on the pressure. That way you don't have to readjust and remove the tire again. All right, guys, that is how you change a tire on a crf250. This process is exactly the same for just about every motorcycle. This was the first tube tire I did. I prefer bikes with tubeless tires. They're so much easier to fix while you're out riding in the middle of the road. But most of these dual sport bikes, they have tubes inside. If you want to get a tubeless tire, they do make a kit. I'll put it in the description below. I might do that in the future, but it's $100. I don't know if it's worth it. But that's the video for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.